So hi, I'm Brad. Welcome to another episode of Coffee for Closers. Today, my guest is Daniel McGrath, CEO and local partner for Recruitment Entrepreneur, Japan. Dan, thanks for coming.
Brad, thanks a lot for having me. Big fan of Coffee for Closers and look forward to receiving my souvenir coffee mug at the end of today's meeting.
Your honorable coffee mug, of course. So again, thanks for coming out. And today we really just wanted to learn from you, really, what is Recruitment Entrepreneur Japan, and how did you get involved with it?
Absolutely. So Recruitment Entrepreneur is a global private equity investor supporting experienced recruiters to start up, scale, and ultimately exit their own recruitment businesses. About 6 months ago, we were approached by Simon Childs, quite a well-known and respected member of the Japan Recruitment Society. And he told us about the Recruitment Entrepreneur mission, their global expansion. His role essentially is a non-executive director for the Asian region. He's tasked with setting up Recruitment Entrepreneur in Japan, as well as Hong Kong, Singapore, and several other Asian markets. We had a series of enjoyable discussions with Simon, but also the UK team, as well as the founder and chairman of Recruitment Entrepreneur, the very charismatic James Caan. Eventually, they selected us as local partner, and we launched successfully. So here we are.
Nice. Well, congratulations. I mean, obviously that's a big undertaking, and obviously you've got your day job going as well, right? With Titan. Mm-hmm. So how does Titan Consulting tie into Recruitment Entrepreneur?
Yep, great question. So Titan's role, I mean, we've been in business 8 years now. We have a very solid kind of infrastructure in place. And our job for any startup is to help incubate their business. So everything from back office, finance, legal, payroll, accounting, operations, all the kind of small things that basically take a lot of time away from revenue generation and frontline billing. So we're a local partner that basically helps startups get out the blocks quickly with a lot of their back office stuff removed from their anxieties, I suppose.
And obviously, I mean, that's, you said 8 years for Titan. I mean, that's a very short amount of time, if you think of it, to get things up and running. Mm-hmm. Is that what the platform does for people, like if they're coming in from, let's say, zero, they don't have a license or anything? Or is it also geared towards people that have something established already?
Yeah, well, I guess there's two targets or two identified people we'd love to talk to. One is guys that are complete entrepreneurs, people that have a vision of starting their own business but don't quite know how to get there or how to start, and we can plug them in immediately with that. The scale-up model is more based around companies that say haven't grown as quickly or scaled as quickly as they would have hoped, and a lot of those two examples share a lot of the same similarities. They both need to scale quickly.
Right. So, I mean, the Recruitment Entrepreneur platform has been quite successful in the UK, as you mentioned. And why did it come to Japan, and what do you think it brings to the market here?
Absolutely. So Recruitment Entrepreneur, in the UK, that's the headquarters. Since their inception in 2014, they've invested in 55 companies, 35 of which are pure startups that they've helped launch into the market over there. So they've got a great track record in the UK, and now they're looking to globalize with that. And the proof of concept is there. What works well in the UK, I'm sure we can replicate here in Japan. So I think the timing for entry is spot on. I think despite the pandemic, I think the Japan recruitment industry at the moment is really humming across all industries. So the timing of their entry, couldn't be better. And that's why we're recently just set up here to attract entrepreneurs, also existing businesses, to engage them and see if we can help scale up faster and ultimately push for an exit.
No, and that's great. I'll get on to and probably pick your brain about what the exit process is. But when you and I started talking about this, a few months ago, it was huge. I mean, this is a game-changing platform, pretty much on any continent for recruiting. But specifically here in Japan, I mean, there are only a handful of big-name shops, and then all the others are boutiques, right?
Sure.
And even for me, I haven't really been connected with the rec-to-rec market for that long, but there was a point where no one really wanted to move, right? So the timing is great for this because it offers, like you said, the types of people that have that entrepreneurial mindset, that have a good track record of billing and want to do something on their own,
Yep.
this just helps them, take it to that level.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't believe, we've done our research, there's nothing really in the Japan market that does what RE does. RE meaning Recruitment Entrepreneur, I always drop to the acronym there. There's no other model out there in Japan that provides the end-to-end support. And you're right, there is sort of a life cycle for any recruiter, I suppose. We've seen a trend develop, you, myself included, and the other two co-owners of Titan. We worked at boutique shops, we worked our way up, we were, known billers, but ultimately you either continue down that path or you have an itch to scratch, and ultimately that usually ends up in you wanting to start your own business. So I think there are a lot of people out there that are probably doing very well at the moment, but they've always got this goal in their mind, but they don't quite know how to materialise that. So that's why we're here to have initial engagements and sort of help them shape their vision and show the value proposition that a recruitment entrepreneur can add.
No, and that's huge, right? I mean, obviously you've started up from scratch. I've started up companies, and it's a daunting task, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things to do, and you get to a point where you can only do so much by yourself, or even a few people helping you, right? So this is, with yourself and also Simon and also the backing of James as well. How does that motivate people? How does that help people make a decision of like, oh, maybe that's where I want to go, right?
Well, as you can imagine, there's a huge amount of variables needed to get a business off the ground. Our support includes seed capital, funding, of course, all the financial related matters to start a business. As I mentioned earlier, everything from accounting, payroll, all these things. Marketing, branding, tech and infrastructure is another key one. Operational support, legal, learning and development, because we want to mentor and coach, successful, CEOs. That's kind of one of our huge missions here. And a real critical piece here is talent attraction. You could be a great biller, set up your own company, but if the inability to scale is sometimes what really hinders or makes companies come to a bit of a standstill. So that talent attraction piece is a real critical element that the RE platform and the model really drives and helps with.
Yeah, so just kind of following up on that, like, what I've seen is like some of the senior level recruiters out there, they don't have a lot of options, right?
Sure.
So in your experience, what prevents, experienced recruiters from starting up their own shop?
Sure, well, I think that's quite a long list. I can speak from sort of first-hand experience, before we created Titan Consulting, and keeping in mind there was myself and two other managing partners, we had a huge list of concerns, and ultimately, I can identify a few, and I think some of these will resonate with any seasoned recruiter. Number one is, I guess, self-doubt. You may be a proven biller, have a long track record of, strong billing years, but the step up from, frontline biller to actual company owner and, full-time operator of a company, that's naturally some people don't really know how to have that, materialize that idea. Secondly, there's always the concern about the investment side. I mean, you can't start a recruitment shop, with a few pennies in your pocket. There is indeed a sizable amount needed up front to get going, and then to ultimately scale as well. So the investment, and these are a lot of people's savings from their successful billing years, there is an apprehension, of course, to kind of pile all that into a new venture. So there's doubt connected to the finances, as well as the ability to attract talent. A lot of top billers, sometimes they're managers of teams, sometimes they're just independent. The ability to attract talent to your new venture, that's also another critical piece that maybe people feel, do I have the right, am I charismatic enough to hopefully draw in people who want to join my venture and kind of share the same vision? So there's some concerns there. And all of these concerns and self-doubts are completely natural. If you don't have any concerns, you charge in. Sometimes that's maybe you're missing something. It's completely normal to have a few butterflies in the stomach before you kind of leap off the cliff and start your own venture.
Well, definitely. I mean, you give them the tools to help them do that. And I mean, we talk about like experienced recruiters, but what type of people are you looking for? Is it only big billers, or is it open to basically anyone that has that entrepreneurial spirit that really understands recruiting?
Sure. Well, there's a couple of kind of identified profiles. Number one, you do need a track record of success. So yeah, you do need some consistent billing years behind you. I think 5 to 7 years is, probably where we'd start, because you need to know how to do the job before you can set up a company that does that job. So the billing background is a critical piece. Management experience. Sometimes a lot of the top billers sometimes they're team-centric, sometimes they're just focused on, eyes on the prize, so they don't necessarily garner the support of everyone around them. So I guess there's that blend, good billing background, people management, that leadership capability, as well as talent attraction. You can start your own venture, but you need to be able to attract people to join you. So having that ability to draw people in, understand your vision and want to be a part of your mission collectively, that's another critical element. Going on here a little bit, but another area would be you have to be a specialist. I think that there's many industries that people recruit in, so you have to be have deep roots, have a strong track record of knowing that industry inside out, because you're the top of the tree and you're leading from the front, so you're expected to be a real industry expert.
And on that note, where do you see the industry going here in Japan? I mean, it's been a bit crazy with the COVID and all that kind of stuff, but where do you kind of see the trend now, and also with this platform as well?
Sure. So, recruitment in Japan is humming at the moment. I think I referenced that earlier. I think that Titan Consulting originally focused purely in healthcare. I believe we've got a pretty deep footprint in that market. We know that industry very well. But we've recently launched business divisions in green tech as well as business innovation. So whilst we've kind of tiptoed into other industries, there's a hell of a lot of other industries out there that are doing very well at the moment. Financial services, anything tech related is huge and it's not slowing down. Industrial, chemical manufacturing. I think the Japan industry as a whole is extremely it's well positioned, and the growth even throughout COVID and the pandemic, I think that Japan is somewhat looked upon by other countries or markets as quite with a tinge of envy, because it hasn't really slowed down business here. I know there's a lot of top billing recruiters out there having kind of best ever years, so the market is really rocking and rolling, I suppose.
And let's touch on the exit. What does it mean to exit? And you've got the growth part, but then you've got the exit part as well.
Sure. So from the get-go, with any startup organisation that we get behind and we partner with, there's always that exit in mind. Whether that's 5, 6, 7 or even longer years, that's always what we're gearing towards or building the business towards. And throughout the whole journey, and I say journey because it's a little bit of a corny expression, but that's really what it is. You can't magically click your fingers and hope to have a successful business and scaled up and grown successfully. It takes quite a lot of time, and every step of the way with the business plan and the strategy in place with Recruitment Entrepreneur, we'll always have these milestones along that journey to get you towards that successful exit. So, as referenced earlier, Recruitment Entrepreneur, they set up business in the UK about 8 years ago, 2014. And some of the early companies they got behind and they had a partnership with, these companies are now 6, 7 years in, and the last couple of years there's been some very successful exits because those businesses have gotten to a point where they've scaled up, they've been very successful, the profitability is there, and they've grown to the point where there's been some interested buyers. So they've essentially exited the company, meaning that they've sold. Sometimes they have roles still in that company, or sometimes it's just a clean break and they can exit with their quite a cash windfall, I guess you could say.
And next big question, how do people get started?
Yep, well, simply put, reach out to myself via LinkedIn. I'm more than happy to have an exploratory meeting. And that initial meeting is purely based around, I'm kind of quoting the man at the very top here, James Caan, we back individuals. So initial discussion with me would be more about who you are, what's your recruitment journey been like in Japan, what's your vision, how can we take the idea of your business and actually have it materialize. And if there's a connection and it has to be a win-win, of course, then we can take the discussions further from that point.
Well, thanks again. Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.
And congratulations on the launch. For anyone interested in the Recruitment Entrepreneur Japan platform, please reach out to Daniel directly. or myself. And also check out the Recruitment Entrepreneur Japan LinkedIn page as well. There will be a lot more information and posts coming soon. So thanks again for joining. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more great content from Recruitment Entrepreneur Japan and Coffee for Closers. Thanks for watching.